Unfortunately, we didn't record the incredible introduction I just gave, but ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Betty Puckett.
Thank you, Jean, for that great introduction. And I have Jeff, Puckett, and Jason helping me. Mark's here. And let's see who else is here. I think we have Mark Doley. Well, we got a lot of famous people. We got a lot. Anyway, we're happy to have all of you here tonight with us. This and there's Violetta, our Area 3 advisor.
Region 3
advisor. And I can't see everybody, but I hope I don't miss anybody. We're just really happy you're here. But this is, I understand, is for newbies that have never had a contest before. And is there anyone here that has never had a contest, been in a contest? Or okay, great. So you're going to learn everything you wanted to know about having a contest, but was afraid to ask. So we're going to talk about that tonight. And I'd like to say, if you have not pre-registered, please put your name and email address in the chat box. And all of those who I have addresses, all those that have addresses, I'm going to send this to you. And then if you don't want it, you can delete it. But that's better, easier than saying who wants it and who doesn't want it.
So Betty, I'm taking attendance, and if anybody didn't pre-register, private message me with your email address.
Oh, that's great. That's great. Thank you, Jean. Tonight, guess what we're going to talk about, Jeff? We are going to talk about our plan for the day. We are going to talk about speech contests. Imagine that. We're going to talk about the types of speech, and we're going to talk about the benefits. And we're going to talk about why would we want to have a speech contest? We're going to talk about how organization, the requirements, the contest rules. Oh, that's a biggie. And we have lots and lots of resources and where to find them. So we're going to be covering a lot of information. Okay, Jeff. And look who's here. Mark Doley with her why, Mo, why. So can any of you think of why? What are the benefits of having a contest? Anybody want to stick their hand in front of them and say? Okay, if you don't, we have a whole bunch we can talk about. The benefits of having a contest is the experience. If y'all are all new, the ones that are new, they get the experience of speaking in front of a crowd, and you get the education of it. You get the leadership education, and the audience, what do they get? I mean, being an audience is just exciting to be there, listening to all those great speeches and just enjoying the company and the fellowship. The coordinators enrolled, they get to learn how to use their resources, the project management, they get to be better managers.
What are you?
Pardon me?
We're good, Betty. Keep going.
Could anybody hear what I said?
We can now.
Oh, I have to start all over.
No, you're fine. You just muted for a small second.
Yeah, we heard you. Yep.
No. Okay, we're talking about speech contests, and we're going to talk about a lot of things. You're going to learn everything you wanted to know about the speech contest, but was afraid to ask. And you're also, I understand you haven't had a speech contest before, but I'm sure I know some of you that have, because I've been there. And the benefits of a contest is like the experience of speaking. And if you're new, you're gonna get the experience of speaking in front of a group and the education of learning all about the speech contest and what a contestant does and what everyone does. If you're in the leadership, you're going to learn so much about leadership. It's just going to be so much fun. The audience really gets benefits just by sitting back and hearing all the great speeches and seeing how all the Toastmasters have come together. The team have worked together. The clubs, of course, gets a lot because they get to see moments of truth in action. Okay, Jeff, next slide. We have several kinds of contests, but this year we always do the International Speech Contest. And this year they've chosen for us the evaluation. We have 2 contests, although sometimes we have humorous or tall tales or table topics. But this year we're going to do the speech and evaluation. Okay. Where does it start? Where does all of this start? It starts with you, with your club. The club contest, and the winner of the club contest goes to area. The area winner goes to division. The division goes to district, and that's where the evaluation would stop. But if you're a speaker and you're winner, you go on with the region videos and possibly, hopefully, the semi and the finals at the international convention. That's exciting because we've had a winner the past couple of years from our area, D55, and we want some more. Okay, Jeff, next slide. There's a lot of stuff going on here. And the contest quality, what makes it a quality contest is the planning. There's lots of planning that goes on, and you get your team together and you plan together. You learn how to train. If you haven't trained anyone, since all of you are supposed to be new, you get to train the people that you have chosen to take these roles. And the interesting speeches makes it a quality contest, and the location. Now, since it's the
COVID.
club contest, we usually have our club contest right where we have our meetings. However, when you get up into area and this division, you need larger areas. You're going to send out information, but we always have to use Toastmaster branding. Don't forget, you can't make up your own. They've got their own. It's all in D55. Preparations. We got a lot of preparations. And I have these 2 sitting there, that little task form and the rule book, because those are my 2 favorites. And they're important. That rule book we have to use because it gives us all the information we need for everything. And that we're going to show you that task spreadsheet later, but it is so full of information and helps you. There's no way you could miss anything. The dates and times of the club contest, the clubs must be completed by February the 7th. You can have them anytime before, but not after. And I suggest you start right now in planning that. Get your dates, because everybody's going to want dates. And if you get yours right now, you'll be ahead of the game. Excuse me. The rule book, you got to know it inside and out, especially the contest chair and the chief judge. But everyone in the contest should read the rule book, and if you can learn it, that would be great. At least learn the part that pertains to you, and especially the international speech and the evaluation, because that's what we're concentrating on this year. And then we need a lot of help. Need a lot of people. We need program management too. And here's that form, and you probably can't see it, but Jeff's going to go to it and show it bigger. Right, Jeff?
I'm on my way.
Okay. Anyway, again, I suggest you go to every contest that you can because they're fun. You're going to find something that you like and say, oh, I want to do that in my contest. And there might be some things you'll say, well, I don't want that happening in my contest, but you learn and you get to meet people and you get to invite them to help you with your contest. And in return, you help them. So you're all teaming up and helping each other. I don't know if you can still see this, but
Can everybody see and read this? This is the first tab. If you look down here where my cursor's pointing, you see there's a series of tabs along the bottom. The first one is kind of the overall schedule. It's got all the tasks listed in the first column with the owner, who's in charge of that, contest chair, chief judge, et cetera, along with, we anticipate you planning these things out starting at least 6 weeks ahead of time. Okay,
that
selecting
means
your
now, start right now.
sooner the better. Planning early and often is always a great thing. But this table here was created, I'm not sure who did it, but whoever did a great job, and it's been added to and has grown over the years. But the S's stand for the start, F's for finish. So you want to start and finish these at least 6 weeks out. And you notice some are going to continue for several weeks, like promoting your contest. You want to start getting the word out early and do it often, all the way through right up to event time, which is that 0. And then afterwards, you're going to do some after action things. Okay, so if we click to the next tab, it's got the task list again in the first column, again with the owners. And watch what happens here. This planning tool is such a great one. It helps us know when the deadlines for each of our events are. Let's say you wanted to have your speech contest on the 6th of January next year. Watch these dates. When I hit enter, you notice all those dates changed. Okay, so these are the deadlines for getting each of those tasks done and still be on time with my planning. I can also mark them off when I'm done and write any comments over here in the column as we move forward. If there's any problems or anything else that needs to be done in conjunction with. Next tab has a list of materials that I need for each along the way. And then I'm also going to need those people, right? I got to put people in those roles who's going to help me do these things. So I can put their names, the club they belong to, area, and of course I want to get their contact information so I can make sure they are in the loop with all of my planning and programming throughout the 6 weeks or more that we're working on making this the best contest ever. Okay, and then there are some others tabs here that get down into very nitnoid details. We've got scripts for you that are more up to date than these, so we're going to skip those today and go back to our slideshow. Betty.
Okay, the contest chair needs lots of help. See, she's flipping all these different things here. She's going to leave a chief judge. She's going to need a voting judge, a tiebreaker judge, lots of contestants that are qualified. So all of you right now get with all your members and getting them lined up to be contestants. We need a test speaker because we're having the evaluation contest. Need a Toastmaster of the day. Now, sometimes the contest chair likes to be the Toastmaster, but I suggest that you get another person because the more on the team, the better. And that gives them another learning experience. And then we're going to need 2 timers, ballot counters, sergeant at arms. And I believe there's other things we need. We're going to, and all of these are going to be delegated by the contest chair, unless they volunteer. Of course, a lot of people are going to volunteer. And the first thing you want to do is set your date and get that flyer out to advertise. You can send an email, Facebook, all the social media. They're going to need a registration chair. Now, the club contest doesn't doesn't need a registration chair like the others, but however, you need someone to make sure that all the contestants are there, and you want to know who the dignitaries are so they can be introduced. And of course, the chief judge wants to know that all her judges are there. You're going to need a Zoom master. And if it's in person, you're going to need someone for audio visual. Because if we usually put a mic on the speakers and other things that an audiovisual person would need to do. You want an awards chair because you got to have trophies. The trophies, I always have to throw this in, they must be in clear view before the contest starts. And we got to have certificates and thank yous, maybe gifts, depending on how much money your club has, because D55 has no money for clubs. But depends on how much money your club can use for these things. If it's in person, we usually like to have some refreshments, even if it's just water and cookies. And that again depends on how much money your club has, how elaborate foods, whether you can have sandwich or just water and cookies, which is okay. Okay, next. Then the contest chair has lots of responsibilities. The contest chair is responsible for the entire contest. And the contest chair works with the team members and all those that have been delegated. She assigns the roles and the positions for everybody, and she ensures that all those roles are carried out, and that we need lots of forms and certificates and all kinds. She ensures that whoever's been delegated, they are there when we need them. And the location, I think we talked about already, is usually where you have your club contests, but later on in the area and division, it has to be a larger place, and she has to make sure it's available. Someone hasn't decided to give it away that day, which has happened to us before. And she has to ensure that the awards, thank yous, whatever you're going to be doing, even just little thank you notes to let people know that you really appreciate their help, that they're done. The contest chair also briefs the contestants and ensures their eligibility. And that's another easy thing on D55. And I think that I've already said that the Toastmaster sometimes likes to be the contest chair likes to be the Toastmaster. Then the contest chair has a checklist. It's also in the rule book, and you could just check off, put it in your planning. Have a planning calendar and put all these things you need. Have the rule book on D55. We've already printed our rule book, and it is in a notebook. And you plan the budget, see how much the club is going to. I'm trying to rush because I don't want to go over. Plan the budget for trophies or whatever else you want to spend money on. Plan your training, your logistics, how you're going to do the ballots. If it's going to be virtual, it's going to be different than just having the ballot counters pick them up from the judges. And there's going to be a lot of communications. And okay, the chief judge. Is Jason with us? Are you there, Jason? Or is he running the Zoom?
Yes, ma'am. I'm right here. What's up?
Okay, talk about the chief judge.
I talk about the chief judge. All right. Well, the chief judge is the contest chair's right-hand person, because without contest officials, it's kind of hard to make a contest go forward. Chief judge is responsible for getting it. Well, actually, it depends on which level of contest you're trying to run, but they're responsible for getting the voting judges, the tiebreaker judges, as well as other contest officials like the timers, I believe the sergeant at arms still follows under the contest chair, though.
Yeah, right. That's right. The ballot counters, though, she is.
Correct. And then come the ballot counters.
Yeah.
One of the things I would add on to what Betty also said is because of our different way of handling contests over Zoom, always get more people than you need. You never know when one judge might drop out because of an internet connection problem, or your timer might fall out. It's always better to have more people than fewer people. And then because they volunteered for you, hopefully you can volunteer for them.
Yes. Thank you, Jason.
Thank you.
Jason and Jeff are my arms. They keep me straight. They try to.
And it's a job.
It is, but we all have fun together.
Even the chief judge has a checklist, right?
Yes,
that's right.
The chief judge has a checklist.
Absolutely. And it's there for her. She just checks off all the forms she has to have. Sometimes the contest chair, which I'm guilty of, I always set them up for the chief judge. But the chief judge is responsible for getting the forms for the judges, and usually makes a folder for each one, and make sure they have their profiles filled and their eligibility.
Yep, there's a briefing that goes along with that, and it's all scripted for you. So never fear that you're not going to have the right words to say.
Yes, all you new people, you don't ever have to worry. I even got word for word that we say.
Let the humor come from your genuine emotion.
I don't know. So I talk it. Okay. We also have other functionaries, and we talked about them a little bit. The ballot counters, the timers, sergeant at arms, the test speaker. In this case, we're having the evaluation, and we have to get one of your friends or someone from another club to come in and give a speech so that all your evaluators in your contest can evaluate this one test speaker. This test speaker, it can be one of his pathways. He can get credit in pathways for his speech. And all must be paid members of Toastmasters. It says the club level, but I say all of them should be paid members of Toastmasters.
Yeah, they have to be. Yeah.
Yes. And the contestant qualifications in the international speech contest, they must be paid members of your club and in good standing of your club, and the club must be in good standing. And the contestant must have at least 6 CC speeches, which is going to go away, as we all know, or levels 1 and 2 of any pathway. There's just one little thing that if it's a new chartered club, you can waive the speech qualification. Is there a new club in here? A brand new chartered club? Okay, well then we don't have to worry about. If
we have a few in the district, so hopefully the word will get out to them.
Yes, I hope so. Yes, but because they can waive that speech qualification. Now, the contestant qualification for evaluation contest, it's any paid member of your club as long as your club is in good standing. So go out, ruffle up all your members to be contestants in both. They could be both. They could be a speaker and an evaluator. Okay, Jeff. We got lots of resources. Oh my goodness, we have lots of resources. And number one, right there, that planning tracking guide, that is my favorite one. That's that form, the
spreadsheet.
Spreadsheet, yes. That one and the rule book are what I go by. And I think Jeff's going to show us some more of this. Go to some of these.
I will. You want to do that now, or you want to stomp on the rule books a little harder, and then we'll go.
Okay, the rule book. Yeah, that is the source, the Bible, sort of. has a speech contest, the procedures, the eligibility of the contestants, the judges, the club, has general procedures, timing rules. You have disqualification and protests. Can you believe that sometimes we have those? All kinds of things. And it is updated. This rule book is updated every year. So if you've got any old ones, either recycle them or throw them away. Sometimes there's changes, but the changes are denoted by a little diamond in the left-hand column of that book if you want to see where they're going. So if you've got old ones, toss them. But that rule book, keep it with you. I keep it with me all the time because you never know who you're going to have a question. Then
Are there any other resources?
Yep. Let's go to other resources.
That's a biggie, isn't it, Betty?
Yes.
Going and visiting different clubs and
yeah, that's my
contests.
favorite. Yes. Going to visit all the clubs, other clubs is one of my favorite things to do. And to see how they run different. And I'm usually helping with all of those clubs as well, because I like to be involved. I don't know why, but I do. And you can ask any experienced Toastmasters, like your officers or anyone you know that has more experience than you. You can ask them how to do things.
We've got a lot of great experience here with us tonight, don't we?
Oh boy, do we ever. I see a lot of my buddies out there. And you have an area director, you have a division director, and and you've got me. I gave you my email address. You got Jason and Jeff, and we're always ready to help. We like to be in the middle of everything. So don't be afraid to ask for help, because we're here to help you.
As I transition over to the web, maybe you want to check in and see if there are any questions out there.
Okay.
Yes. So one question that did come up, Betty, is somebody was asking about online contests, right? Because all contests this year will be online.
Yes. I saw you responded to that, and thank you. Thank you for that.
Yes. So there's if we have a few minutes, once you get through kind of the structure of how a contest should be run, to talk about that, maybe we can field some questions about the differences between an in-person contest and a contest online.
And if you happen to be the contest chair or the chief judge right after this session for beginners, except I can tell you're not all beginners, it's going to be a session on that. So just stick around for that. And also Jean usually has a Zoom for online that helps us get through all of those online sessions.
For the virtual meetings.
Yeah, the virtual
contests.
I always say Zoom because that's what we do, but it's just the virtual. Are you ready, Jeff?
Yep. Can you see this screen? Am I sharing my web page, my
yes
browser? Okay, great. Thank you for that. Well, here's where we are right now. This Toastmaster contest training. I'm on the Toastmasters District 55 homepage. This is our front door, and things that are happening most recently or currently will show up right on top. Well, we want to get some more information about how to do a contest. So where would I go to find that? Would I go there and look under recognition or promotions, or is that kind of an event? Contests or events? I'm going to look under here and look at there. There it is, contests. So if I click on contests, everything I ever wanted to know that Betty hasn't already told me about contests can be found right here. When do all the club contests need to be completed?
February 7th.
You guys are all yelling February 7th, right? Great.
We're going to have a test at the end of this, so you better remember.
And all my area contests have to be done by March, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, all the way through the district level. And over here, resources. resources for contest organizers. If I click on that, I can jump right over here and look at that. A link straight to the rule book. Oh my goodness. You can click that and download your very own copy. I've done that already, so I'm just going to click right over here just to highlight. This is the diamond that you see that highlights the changes that were made in this year. And every time there's one of those, you can at least focus in on the changes if you're familiar with what we did last year. But by all means, please know this document. You want to have a fair and just contest for everyone. Okay, so there's your rule book contents. Got the general rules that apply to speech contests across the board, all the way down to individual types and checklists and additional resources. Okay, did you guys go with me to the when I shifted over to this page? Did you guys come with me to the?
I did. I can
Yes,
see
yes.
it.
Okay, great.
The
All
rules.
right, so coming back, let's click back out to planning documents. When I do that, here's a link that'll take you right to the Excel spreadsheet that we looked at a minute ago, and it'll actually download one for you. So I'm not going to do that now, but you can certainly do that and play with it. Have your very own copy to modify and update and tailor specifically to your contest. Okay. You want more information on how to chair or how to be a chief judge, stay tuned after this meeting for more details, and then you can use this as a resource. You can even go click here and order your very own how to put on a good show from Toastmasters International. We've got scripts. We talked about not having to create this stuff on your own. It's all right here on TMD 55. So you can at least have a script. You can just read straight from it. You can tailor it a little bit to your very own contest.
But it's word for word. You don't have to think about anything. Only time is if it's a virtual, and I think Gene has fixed those if it's virtual.
You want to use this button to make sure your members are eligible and deemed eligible by Toastmasters International. And this links right to there just to make sure they're paid up to date and the clubs are in good standing.
That's the online member eligibility, if in case you can't read.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Are you guys able to read? It's on my screen. I can see it
on that.
quite clear. Okay. And plenty of other resources that are right there just by clicking on speech contests on TMD 55. This little moving calendar you will start to see getting updated with our area and division contests as they start to get settled and identify the dates and times for those. Okay, so be sure you stay tuned to this website early and often as a great planning tool. Any questions on these?
I suggest you get your date set because that gets pretty hairy when everybody's trying to get in there at the same time. You have to get moved around.
Okay, if there are no burning questions at this point, we're going to jump right into sample contest.
Yes. What we decided we'd do, since you were supposed to be new people, that we were going to just do a little sample contest, just briefly walk through it. Now that you've heard everything you need to know about a contest that you were afraid to ask. So now here's what we're going to do. Before the contest, everybody's going to be gathered. The team's going to be gathering at the place and getting all set up. You're going to have the registration there so that you'll know whether all the contestants are there and the dignitaries are signed in so that the contest chair can introduce them. And the contest chair is going to have all the contestants in some area, in a stage area, and brief them, give them the stage area that they can use and for the speaking area. They'll choose a number to know whether they're first or 10th in speaking. The Toastmaster will be sitting in on this briefing so that he can learn how to pronounce every name correctly. And he will also collect those profile sheets that the contestants have filled out because he's going to need them later. The chief judges, at the same time we're doing this, is briefing the judges and the ballot counters, the timers, and the tiebreaker judge has already been briefed in private. Now it's opening time for the contest, or the contest chair. That's me. And I'm going to welcome everyone. I have my gavel. I'm going to do one bam. You don't do bam, bam, bam. It's one. So I go bam. Welcome to our first club contest. Please join me in the pledge and inspiration led by Mr. Prayer. So we did that. We have dignitaries with us, and I'd like to introduce the list. It was given to me by the contest chair just before we opened from the registration. And please hold your applause until they've all been introduced. And I go through this and I name the ones that like Lark Jolie would be first. She's the immediate past president of International, and then would go to the Region 3 advisor, and then Jean, the District 55, and then would have several district directors and several area directors. And then we'll give them all a welcome to our contest, and so happy they're here. And then I would introduce our Toastmaster of the day, welcome our Toastmaster of the day. And he has already been given those profile sheets for all the contestants. He's also been given certificates for each one of those contestants to show that they have been a participant in the contest. He will read the direction from the rules, the direction and the rules of the contest word for word. He did not even have to think of what to say. It's all in B55 or the TI. He will introduce the contestant, and in this way, he would say, our first contestant is Susie Wright, my favorite pet. My favorite pet, Susie Wright. And then we all clap. And she gives her little 5 or 7 minute speech.
Madam Toastmaster. That concludes my presentation.
Then with the judge, we will have 1 minute, have the timers to give us 1 minute for the judges to complete their thing. And then the Toastmaster will all introduce all the other speakers in the same way. And then at the end, when the last one, the ballot counters, and this will have to be decided when it's virtual how, but in a live one, they would go around and collect the ballots from all the judges. However, the chief judge would collect the one from the tiebreaker and would collect the timers report. Now, while they leave, the chief judge and the ballot counters leave us, they go out to count and see who's going to be the winners. And while they are counting, the Toastmaster calls the contestants to the stage and he interviews each with what club, how many years, or something from their profile sheet. And after he's interviewed each one, they are presented with a certificate of participation in the contest. And then they should go behind that line to the end, not in front of the line. That is one of my pet peeves, I have to tell you. If there are any announcements at this time, after all the contestants have been interviewed, this is when they would be made. When we know the judges are back, then the Toastmaster returns control to the contest chair. The contest chair will probably have a gift to give to our Toastmaster or some way to thank him for being such an outstanding Toastmaster and thank him. Mm-hmm. And then the contest chair thanks everyone, all the helpers who have helped with this contest.
I thought you said helpers. Sorry.
And then the chief judge gives the contest chair the ballots and she reads them. And I think we start with the third and then the second. And after each one named, they come up. The contest chair has invited the top two of the district, like it would probably be Lark or Violetta or Jean, to help present the trophies and the contest chair. So as each one of these is called up, they are presented with their trophy and their certificate. And the second one, if for some reason number one cannot participate, number two would become in her place, and it's named where it would be. And then we all applause. And then that is the end of the contest. There is nothing else. Bam, thank you for coming. Now there's another contest that I didn't talk about that we have evaluation, but it's carried on kind of the same way, except it's a little bit different since we have a test speaker. And we have some, Jeff, what's the next contest? We got a conclusion and some questions. Can't hear me. He says you cannot hear me. Now we're going to give you a test. We have a summary and conclusions. Who benefits from a Toastmasters contest? Everyone. Okay,
Jean. Betty. Everybody does.
Everyone
who participates, whether you're a contestant, a helper, or somebody in the audience.
So I see somebody out there, Sandra Pratt, who won our Table Topics district competition last year. She benefited from her contest.
Yes, I think everybody benefits. When are all club contests to be completed? February.
What's the deadline?
7th.
Yes. Lark Doley knew that. She put it in the chat.
Is that the only day to have club contests?
Anytime before.
That's right. That's right. Anytime before. But that's the last day you can have it. Who can you ask for help?
Anybody.
We've got Kevin Clark says any experienced Toastmaster. That's exactly right. But you have your area director, all those we named, and all you remember that. What are the two primary contest resources that I say are my favorite that we discussed today? The rule book and the checklist. Yes, yes, yes. How do you confirm contestant qualifications? There's that online link, right? Is that little thing, you just click on it. It's got there.
The contestants that's part of their form too, isn't it? To start that process.
Yes, yes.
So hopefully they've completed it as well.
Yes. Where can you find the rule book and other resources?
TMD 55.
Yes, and TI. I'll tell you what, anybody that needs to know anything can ask Kevin Clark because he's answering all these questions. He is excellent. You're going to get a big star, Kevin. How many voting judges should you have? Did we talk about that? Say 5? Can you have at least 5? Can you have more?
Yes.
Yes, you can have more. You might have someone, I want to be a judge, I want to be a judge. And that's okay if you have 7 or 8. If you have more, because sometimes somebody's always gets sick or can't come.
Well, like Jason said, if you're online and somebody loses their connection.
That's right, Jason. Yes, that's right. Jason's right there to help us out. How many voting? Did we talk about judges? Okay. What 2 contests are we having this year? I bet no one, I bet Kevin doesn't even remember that one. But he does.
Now I
Sandra's got it.
Evaluations and international.
All right. What is the test speaker?
That's the person that goes up to the mic and says, testing, testing, 1, 2, 3, right?
No.
Oh, that's good, Jeff.
Yes, he's our test speaker for our evaluators, and Kevin knows that. And why do we need a test speaker? Okay, Kevin, why do we need a test speaker? So that everyone evaluates the same. Oh, Kevin didn't answer it. Donna did.
He's already
Yay.
got it there too.
Yeah, Kevin's there too.
Well, let me add
Okay.
something to your test speaker, Betty.
Pardon me?
Let me add something to your test speaker. The
Okay.
test speaker, of course, is to be evaluated, but you also don't want to go out and necessarily find a perfect speaker. You want
Right.
someone who's also still learning their trade as a speaker. I'm not saying don't go find a distinguished Toastmaster. Maybe that's a bit much. Find someone who's been speaking and hasn't necessarily achieved all those accolades. Maybe someone at level 2 or 3 or 4. Give the speaker something that they can get out of all those evaluations at one time. How many times does one speaker get evaluated by so many different people with so many different perspectives? That
Yes.
is a
Not very
great
often.
opportunity.
You are absolutely right. And Lark Doley says you are.
Well, then I know I'm on the right track. Then.
And where are we going to find this test speaker, Jason? Where do we find them?
I would find them at one of my local clubs or one of my areas, and assuming that club and that area is all paid up and in good standing, that is where I'm going to find my speaker.
Okay, thank you, Jason. Now, does anyone have any questions about anything that we've talked about?
That was kind of the fire hose effect. So
Yeah, we just really buzzed through that so fast.
So,
Okay, there's no limit on contestants. No, there is no limit on contestants.
so let me go back to
So-
the question about how are things different virtual and not virtual, right? Last year we put together kind of a best practices work instruction that's been posted to that webpage that Jeff was showing us. We are definitely looking to rewrite that guideline because last year's was for international speech and table topics, and this year's has to be for international speech and evaluation.
Yes.
And we'll make sure that we have kind of a virtual contest planning worksheet, best practices, tips,
Yeah.
resources available to you. So if you go, Jeff, to resources for contest organizers, and I'm gonna, planning documents, and now you have to scroll all the way down to the very bottom of the page.
And yeah, and we'll be having more sessions like on Tuesdays about on these things that you can attend. I
Yeah.
remember when we had our first virtual contest, we learned a lot. Jean is awesome. She's our amazing Zoom master.
So Jeff, that's last year's guideline.
okay.
It's a good framework of what to expect. Please understand that it was written for last year, not this year. So
But you see the detail.
Yeah.
You put a lot of hard work and effort into this, so.
Yeah, and so we are, like I said, we're getting ready to put one up there for evaluation and international speech. So, and we'll
Things
make
like
sure
passing that information, the ballots and stuff that we used to do just when you're in person, you just hand it to them. We had to create a whole new way of sharing that information and keeping it secure. And so lots of things were learned on the fly last year and will be improved on this year. Sure.
Yeah, it's great. Yes. Okay, all of you, I know you're going to have great contests. Invite me to your contest. I want to be there. I'm a contest addict.
You got about 8 minutes, Betty. If you want to, any other questions?
I would
I
say
have a few
contest
questions.
Inky.
This is Veronica.
Hi, Veronica.
How you doing, Betty? Hi, Jeff. Hi, everyone. Just a quick question. Just a quick question. So for advertisement, do those have to be approved ahead of time?
Jean, let me ask you that.
for
The advert for when you're advertising your contest, does it have to be approved by D55?
Do you mean the dates, Veronica, or the actual document?
Oh, she's talking about the document, I'm sure.
The document. Yes, the document.
like your flyers and that. So not for clubs, Veronica, but I would strongly recommend you, if you're putting a flyer together, to go to Toastmasters.org and visit the branding portal. And I think
yes, I think we talked about
.org/branding should take you right there.
right.
And there's some real easy things that you can do to make sure you stay on brand. One is, if you use the Toastmasters logo, you can't put any other logos on your agenda.
And then you can send email, you can do all the social media, the Facebook, all the LinkedIn, everything. And take them with you, make copies. And when you go to the beauty shop, take them, invite someone, go to the grocery store, maybe they'll let you put one on the bulletin board. And then who knows, we might get some new members, because it's exciting to go to these contests.
So Jeff, I think it's leveraging the brand that gets into the rules and regulations. Yeah, that brand portal that takes you to a quick video that you can watch with some real, like, top of the line branding rules.
And I know there's a sample on there on the website too, but I should have pulled it up. And I meant to pull up an agenda as well when I was doing my little speech and get us through there. I was going to do that and I didn't. And I'm sorry, I just went flying through this, but
You only had a certain amount of time. This marketing resource is probably good.
Right. Just another quick question. So, Jean, I know we're talking about clubs. So will there be training for area content? Or, because I do have just one more question. So you said you don't have to get approval for the club contest for your flyers and things like that, but for area you do?
Yeah, I would recommend for area contests, like Betty said, there's an agenda template that's on our resource page. Use that agenda template. And Veronica, what? I know there were some flyers that people were using, and Betty mentioned that.
Yes.
Where they came from, but so long, Veronica, as you kind of abide by those branding rules, then you shouldn't have any issues creating flyers for an area level contest. And I believe Kathy's got some training set up for leaders. For area.
And there's also an agenda on there that you can follow really, really easy. It's just, it has the Toastmaster logo on it. We used to try to make them fancy and have theme. And that's something I didn't mention. You can make your club have more fun and have a theme, if it's near a holiday or whatever.
Violetta just posted, she's going to send some examples. Marketing used across other districts as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So
Thank you for that.
we do have a couple more questions. People are asking where this will be posted. I believe it's gonna go to the district YouTube page, but I'm not positive, guys. We'll
If we have your email, we can email it directly.
We'll be able to link from the training, from the contest page to this, at least if it's going to be posted. I'll get Kathy to make sure that that happens. And then Donna mentioned, you talked about training for the rules in the contest. Is this what we covered at 8:30? Some of it will be. And yeah, Donna, you asked, does the VPE do the training for the club? And kind of like, you got to use your judgment. If the VP is experienced and has done this before, then yes, expectation is the VPE is kind of responsible for making sure it gets done, but you really want to lean on club members that have been through this before, right? And if you're a newish club, you can reach out to your area director and ask them, hey, could you help us with some mentoring, or do you have another club in your area that might be willing to help us mentor? And somebody had even asked about maybe putting 2 clubs contests together. And that is a great way for everybody to share resources and gain experience and kind of team up and also build a little fellowship. The one thing I'll say is if you hold more than one contest at an event, you should hold it, the first contest end to end, awarding trophies before you start the next contest. That's the only caveat. But it's a great way to make use of an assembled team and resources.
Yeah, and Violetta just said some districts across the region do them together, and we have done them together as well.
Yeah. No, and it's a great way, especially with Zoom and logistics, to have one prepared team be able to support 2 contests.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a great plan.
Yes.
So if they're combined,
sorry, Fred.
Oh, I was gonna just ask. So if they're combined, is it like, I don't know, pick a time, it starts at 5 p.m. and then we just roll to the second one? Or do you have to, like, one starts at 5, the next starts at 7 kind of thing?
So that's kind of a tricky thing, Fred. If you understand ahead of time how many competitors you're going to have, you can kind of do a rough estimate, and do one from 5 to 6:15 and the next one from 6:30 to 7:45 or something like that. It's tough though. It's tough with these events to have those real firm start times down. So that is something that takes a little bit of talent, and some good guesswork and some math to figure out how many contestants you got versus how long do you think your contest is going to go.
Yeah, it's hard to tell time, but we just do them like one right after the other and a little break, tiny break in between.
Yeah, and the expectation for that would be that the same team and the same audience are there for both contests all the way through.
Gotcha. Okay.
Any more questions? See, when I was practicing, it took me, I ran out of time. But
that's why you were moving so fast. You were out of breath. You were hustling so fast through those slides.
Oh, it's great to have everybody here. It's good to see you, Violetta.
All right. So it sounds like we don't have more questions. So as Jeff and Betty pointed out tonight, we have a tremendous volume of resources available for
Absolutely.
contests. If if you want to check those out, some of them are from last year and some of them are like in the process of being updated. I think the big takeaway is, if you'd like to have a club contest, start planning it now. Find somebody that's confident with Zoom. Find
Don't
a Toastmaster and a chair and all of that. Yeah.
Hey, Jean.
don't be afraid to ask for help.
Hi, Jean, can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, Donna did ask a question several times, and she was asking, is the VPE responsible for training? So I guess the clarification, training, Donna, for being a judge, Toastmaster, which training were you referencing?
Well, you've got to, everybody that has a role in the actual contest needs to know what their role is and how they're supposed to execute it and so forth. So you've got that. Now, as far as the contestants, they basically are going to have to do a 5 to 7 minute speech. I don't think at that point, there's a lot of training for them unless I think there's nothing there.
Well, there
go ahead.
is though.
Yes.
Well, I'm assuming if it's in the manual, and I'll get the manual and I'll read it. But the thing I was concerned about was I've had some experience as a chief judge, and I have been a speaker, but I haven't been a contest chair. And I want to make sure that, I was just thinking about who would I reach out to. And you mentioned going to my area person who was new. She would be helpful. And we've got people in our group that have done this. So I was just trying to figure out how I would coordinate it. I'm just thinking about coordinating that training so that everybody has it. As long as I know where the stuff is, I'm good with manuals. And
Donna, right after this, if you just stay tuned, and they're going to have,
yeah.
And they have a contest there. Pebby is going to teach you about contest chair and chief judge. Also, Wilma is having a session for the contestants.
Oh,
There's
when is that?
Mike Carr, who's the international champion, world champion this year, has got some great stuff that's on D55's webpage too.
Absolutely, yes.
So
So Betty,
that session's at 8:30. It's actually a different Zoom link. We're going to record some of that. I don't know if we can record 2 rooms at once, Pebby. We'll have to see. But
so Jean and Betty, is it safe to say that the VPE is not responsible for the training, but the district has designated people who are responsible for doing the training this year on contest? Isn't that true?
We're trying to offer a great deal of training and make it available to people. The VP is responsible for getting it done. And poor Violetta's been raising her hand. Violetta, you got some thoughts on this, right?
Actually, I didn't want to chip in until the end. Number one, it was so good to see you guys. I really needed to see you, Betty, Jeff, Jason, Dean. I love you guys. I miss you really a lot. Well, number one, contests are another learning experience. You will find almost everything in the rule book, but not everything is written. So just don't stress. Take this as a learning opportunity. But if something comes up before the contest, you can always reach out to the contest team at World Headquarters. Send them an email. They will give you guidance. That is our first place to go, because sometimes our area directors and division directors and even our PQD, they are so busy with other things. So let's go direct to the source. And if we still don't get it, let's go look up and see where we can get our answer. Number two, across Region 3, we have amazing trainers. And some of our districts have partnered to share training resources. So District 3, District 5, District 16, they all have their judges training recorded. So you can just jump on their website and ask Kathy. Kathy has also a couple of links to the material. Take a look across the region. We do contests. We do the same thing. Judging is the same thing.
You can go to Google and put in Toastmasters contest chair and get it from every different areas, different regions and everything, anything.
Make sure you're staying current and
Yeah, well, you have to make
Stay
sure that,
updated. There's another thing. Some of our PQDs across the region are asking for helping hands to judge. So if you're interested judging outside of District 55, let Kathy know. We got a request from Oklahoma saying, hey, we need judges from outside Oklahoma. Who would like to help? So I sent that curveball to Kathy because you're on the same time zone. So if you're interested in helping outside of your district, why don't you go and do so? And there's one thing I learned last year. Last year, I did contest hopping. I did all 8 district contests, and it is so different across from each district. All of our speakers are talented. District 55, you know, if you want to win the World Championship of Public Speaking, you have to belong to District 55. We know that. Thank you, Luisa. Thank you, Mike. But you learn interesting things from Arizona, California, New Mexico, and then Mexico as well. So give yourself that opportunity that everyone is in contest season right now. And if you need anything on branding, ask Rick. He's your PRM. And I will be sharing training resources on marketing or advertising with Betty in relation to contests. So Betty, stay tuned.
okay. Will do.
Miss you. Thank you for my spotlight.
Thank you, Violetta. Thank you so much. All right. With that, I think we are definitely at time. We can pause here if other folks want to stay for a minute or two, but I just want to say for all y'all, thanks for spending the hour with us. Betty, Jeff, thanks so much for the presentation, the energy and the enthusiasm.
And Jason too.
Yes, and Jason, everybody who's there and contributed. Thanks all for
Jason has to kick me every now and again.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you, everybody, so much.
And thank everybody for coming.
I'm getting ready to post a link to register for the next event if you haven't already, and it's an immediate registration.
And everybody's invited to, everybody's invited to Gavel Masters every Thursday night. And Sunday speakers every other Sunday, second and fourth Sunday. Talk of the Tower every Wednesday. And most of you can, it's Advanced Club, top-notch trainers, the first Sunday of the month. Anybody else?
Great to see everyone. Look forward to seeing you out in the contests.
Yes.
Thanks, everyone.
Yes.
Great to see you, Lark.
Great to see all of you.
Yeah, great, great. I'm gonna stay for the next session. So
we have to move over. It's not the same link, she said.
Oh, I thought it was gonna be the same link. Okay, I have to move.
Hopefully see some of you over there.
Yeah. Jason brought his chicken.
Bert.
No, it's Wade. Wade.
His name Wade.
Chuck the chicken.
His name
or is
Wade.
It Choke? Thanks, Gene.
Bye, guys.
Awesomely. We'll see you over at the next one as well.
Just a minute. I'm going to kick it off in just a minute. Yeah.
Violetta, you coming over?
Thank you, Jason. Thank you, Jeff.
How did it go?
You didn't unmute me, Jason.
I'm sorry?
You didn't unmute me.
Why would I do that?
And I will send you a list of the folks that were here, Betty.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. No worries, no worries. Violetta, are you still there?
But Violetta's still here. She's muted.
still here.
No, she doesn't.
You are, okay.
What'd you think?
I'm doing house chores, but I would listen to everything. I loved it.
All right, we're gonna,
In my hand.
Look at that, she's mopping.
so we're gonna end this one and we're switching over to our 8:30 one. I'm gonna get that one warmed up. So I just wanted to say hi, and it was really great to see you. Thanks for your input at the end. I appreciate that.
It was very well handled. I mean, you heard about it last year, Jean. Everyone across the region started sharing resources, but this year, since we're it got really intense. And Kathy, David Hopper from District 3 in Arizona, Luann Marshall in Oklahoma District 16, they have on their websites like resources from other districts.
Mhm.
So I try to keep you guys in the same time zone so you won't go crazy like I do. But we have, upstairs you have District 25, Fort Worth, and then further up you have Oklahoma.
Yeah.
And it's real. Luann Marshall, PQD for District 16, she is looking for judges. I don't want to say it, but Betty, I dropped your name.
Where is she? Who is this? And where is she? What
Luann
world?
Marshall in Oklahoma, and I told her, tell Kathy to get you a hold of her members.
Yeah.
So yeah, I dropped in a couple of names, but Betty was like right in front of the list. I don't know why.
And then right behind me is Jason and Jeff.
Kinda, was that kind of like the dream team or the dream squad? But you guys did a great job. I'm so proud of you. Keep this up.
It's so good to see you.
And Jean, it's so nice to see you as the district Zoom master. You got this, girl.
I know it. She is amazing. That Jean is amazing.
I don't know how much she's going to charge me if I ask her to be my Zoom master for mid-year training.
Jean, the Wonder Machine.
How much is your rate going right now, Jean?
What's that?
How much is your rate as Zoom master?
Yeah, I gotta figure out my valuation in my marketplace, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna need a Zoom master, and someone at your level of expertise is nice. Very well done.
All right. Well, I'm gonna have to close this one down so I can start warming up for Wilma and Pebby on the next one. Violetta, as always, it's great to see you. Yeah.
And Violetta, keep me updated on those things you have like once a month.
Yes, I will always share their stuff with you. I just need to stop mopping and I will sit down and do it.